Welcome back to High Stakes. Elevate your game by subscribing to our channel so you never miss our daily content. For exclusive access to our premium betting picks, join our Patreon. Find the link in the comments section below. Stay ahead with High Stakes. Arizona Cardinals versus Indianapolis Colts. Both Shane Steichen and Jonathan Gannon have coached in 4 preseason games, and each is 2-2 straight up. However, the Indianapolis Colts should have the advantage heading into this matchup. They have a legitimate quarterback battle going on for the backup spot, so it will be imperative for them to play well. Even with Anthony Richardson not expected to play in this game, they still have competent quarterbacks on the field for this game. Compare that to Arizona, which has a clear hierarchy with Kyler Murray and Clayton Tune being 1-2 in the depth chart. The Colts defense also was able to force turnovers, so expect the Indianapolis Colts to control this game and cover the spread as the better option. We discussed this during the meat of the article, but both teams struggled in their first preseason game on the money downs to convert, so that will cause points to be left on the board. The Arizona Cardinals were able to shut down the opposing offense against them and showed that they are not going to be offensive juggernauts this preseason either. The Indianapolis Colts defense is not going to be as porous as they were in the preseason opener, so do not expect to see a similar performance here. All in all, go with under 36.5 points in this matchup. Buffalo Bills versus Pittsburgh Steelers. Russell Wilson, in his first outing as the Steelers' lead quarterback, has a lot to prove with the pressure of Justin Fields breathing down his neck. His chemistry with a versatile receiving core, featuring George Pickens, a player known for turning even the most routine catches into highlights, and Van Jefferson, signed from the Rams, is a seasoned deep threat, could quickly translate into points on the board. Moreover, Wilson's leadership and experience, particularly in pressure situations, suggest that he'll look to set the tone early, taking advantage of the preseason's looser defenses to push the ball downfield and capitalize on scoring opportunities. Even if the starters only play a portion of the game, the Steelers' offensive depth, combined with Wilson's desire to leave no doubt about his status as QB1, could easily result in multiple touchdowns during the first half alone. On the other side, Josh Allen's presence adds another layer of scoring potential. While Allen might play a limited role, his time on the field will be focused on building rapport with new targets like rookie Keon Coleman, who has the physical tools to make an immediate impact. Allen is known for his aggressive style and ability to create big plays, often taking risks that could lead to quick points. Additionally, both teams will be keen to evaluate their offensive units, likely resulting in more open play and scoring chances. In preseason games, where defenses are often less cohesive and more vanilla in their schemes, the potential for explosive plays increases. My team pick, Buffalo Bills plus 5.5, and my total pick is over 37.5 points. Washington Commanders versus Miami Dolphins. Aside from Daniels likely playing at least one series, it is hard to envision what we will get from the Commanders' offense. They are still figuring things out with a new coaching staff and several personnel changes. Meanwhile, the Dolphins continue to showcase a strong defense, albeit struggling inside the 20. Thompson and White both have real-time game experience and should be able to march the offense down the field, whoever is under center. Take Miami minus 3 points. As touched on, the Dolphins' defense was not only able to get to opposing quarterbacks at a high rate, but they could also stuff the run. Washington looked to make sure some things were up by taking a lineman and cornerback in the draft. We should expect those rookies to see some action, and Newton finished with 7.5 sacks his last year in the NCAA. Lastly, outside of Daniels, we don't know how aggressive or assertive Washington will be. Take under 37.5 points. Los Angeles Rams versus Los Angeles Chargers. Both sides come into this one without the strength of full, first-team offenses in play, putting the outcome in the hands of the defenses. The Rams showed that they were stout enough in their first preseason matchup, not allowing their opponent to touch the end zone at all. The Chargers weren't so bad themselves, minus 1 quarter in which they allowed 16 points. Otherwise, they gave up just a field goal and did excellent against the pass. They'll have to deal with Bennett, who got the most experience of any QB in the game in preseason week 1. With the Rams expected to use their QB for the majority of this one as well, I expect him to be the most comfortable party in this exchange, allowing him more of an opportunity to get settled into a rhythm. That favors the visitors just enough to get by here. Take the Rams. As noted above, neither of these teams will be throwing their main guys behind center in this one, meaning two of the more efficient passers in the game will not be out slinging balls around the field. Bennett did get a great deal of work in last week, but the Chargers' pass defense could pose some perils for him this week. Slowing down the Chargers in their passing game will keep the clock moving with the ground game. Same on the Rams' side offensively. Their Herbert issue may be something that plays out longer than expected, so they'll likely be rolling out all of their QBs again in hopes someone stands out as an option for week 1 of the regular season, in case of emergency. This game should belong the defense. Take the under. Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus Jacksonville Jaguars. This should be a thrilling matchup on Saturday night, as we'll likely see a bit more playing time from the starters. From a betting perspective, I'm going to ride with the Jaguars minus the points. Dating back to last season, head coach Doug Peterson is a perfect 4-0 SU in preseason games, posting an average margin of victory of plus 12.25. Not only are they winning, but they're cruising to multi-possession wins. Ultimately, we have one of the best offensive minds in the game in Peterson, squaring off against base defenses and backup defenders. This offensive mastermind should have another field day, especially with his experienced quarterbacking room of Trevor Lawrence, C.J. Beathard, and Mac Jones. Meanwhile, the Buccaneers didn't play their starters in the Week 1 preseason game, so perhaps there will be some cobwebs to shake off. Regardless, this play on the Jags comes down to Peterson's will to win in the preseason. They should have plenty of offense to cover the spread in front of their home crowd. As I was alluding to, Jacksonville's clearly looking to win these games and run up the score offensively. Dating back to last season, the Jaguars are averaging 27.5 points per game over the last 4 games. If they come anywhere near that number, we should cruise over this low total of 37.0 points. During Todd Bowles' time in charge of the Buccaneers, he has coached 7 preseason games and gone 3-4 SU. The combined scores are 3-3-1 to this total of 37 points, and the average game has a mean of 34.7 points per contest. While the average is slightly under this game's total, I think Jacksonville's high-powered offense will help make up the difference. Also, I'm somewhat optimistic with Tampa's offense heading into the year. I think they have a great skilled group and a serviceable quarterback in Baker Mayfield. I think we're going to end up finishing over this total of 37 points. Dallas Cowboys versus Las Vegas Raiders. I expect this game to be a bit competitive, as both squads lost by only 1 point in their first preseason game. Dallas has better depth overall, and I believe the backfield will be tested by both offenses as they try to establish their new running backs. Running the ball often leads to fewer possessions for each side and, as a result, a closer finish. Cooper Rush is better than the backup for the Raiders, and I have more confidence that the Cowboys will be better prepared for this matchup. Take the Cowboys with the points. Defense and the ground game will be the key in this contest, which leads me to have more confidence in the under. Dallas played against the Rams in Week 1, and the two teams totaled only 25 points. I expect both teams to do their best to establish the running game, as there are question marks on both sides. Most of the offensive depth chart on each team is set in stone, but the defensive depth pieces are still up for grabs. I expect several players to do their best to vie for one of those precious spots, leading to a better defensive performance. The total should increase with the final preseason game, with the starters getting more reps, but for now, I'll take the under.